We're entering this hybrid era where we have an 800-volt battery pack on the car. Offers incredible possibilities in terms of what the car can do, but it brings with it some safety challenges.
Welcome to our Crowdstrike safety series. As the technology in the cars progresses, so too do the methods of communication between race control, the teams, and the marshals. With such high speed, time is critical when a car is stranded out on track, and it's imperative that the right information is communicated to the right people in the shortest possible time. Let's take a closer look at a modern F1 marshalling system. Evan, thank you so much for joining us today. Technological advancements have helped make the sport safer over the years, and additional features have been added to the cars to help the marshals perform their duties. Now, since the 1970s, each of the cars have had an E-loop on the side. What does that represent?
So as you say, this large E marked on the side of the car has a couple of meanings. Initially, when we started with these systems on the car, that was simply extinguisher. And it still does that feature today, so pulling on one of those loops will fire the extinguisher in the car, covering both the driver and the power unit with a fire suppressant. Since then, of course, the technology's moved on a bit, and we have hybrid systems on the car, as well as electric fuel pumps and all sorts of other things. So that second meaning for the E is the electrical system. Pulling that loop sets off the extinguisher, but it also fully isolates the electrical system on the car, including the fuel pumps, the ECU, and the hybrid system, making sure the car is in the safest state we can possibly get it.
So hopefully at that point the car is safe to approach, but sometimes we can have issues if the car is stuck in gear and it's a bit difficult to move. How do the marshals address this problem?
Well, as you say, in a normal situation, the driver will stop the car at the end of a run, they'll be in neutral, our mechanics can push the car easily back into the garage. But if the car has stopped suddenly or stopped at an unusual position on track and might still be in gear, the marshals can look for this big N on the front of the chassis, marking the neutral button. And we can see here the button on the chassis marked in red. Depressing that fires a small accumulator on the car that opens the clutch, completely independent system from the rest of the car, disengages the drivetrain, and allows the marshals to move the car safely off the track.
And there's another light down here on the chassis that we haven't touched on yet. What is that one used for?
Yeah, we'll often see this light on television, and it can be a bit confusing at first because it's in close proximity to the neutral switch. That light is the medical light, and it's connected to the accident data recorder on the car. In a normal situation, you'll see that light just slowly pulsing to let us know that everything's okay. But in the case of an incident on track, where the driver experiences significant Gs, so a sudden deceleration or an impact with something, that light will start flashing intensely, and that's a warning to the crews approaching the car that the driver's experienced something a bit unusual, so they should approach the driver with caution and make sure to get the medical team involved for extra checks.
From 2009 to 2012, we had a KERS period in the sport. But since 2014, we've had hybrid power units. With that increased electrical power, what additional safety precautions have been added to help the marshals, teams, and drivers all stay safe?
So with the advent of the hybrid systems on the car, we're entering this hybrid era where we have an 800-volt battery pack on the car. Offers incredible possibilities in terms of what the car can do, but it brings with it some safety challenges. In particular, making sure the car is in a safe state to touch after an incident. So under the surface, the hybrid system on the car is monitoring the state of the battery pack and all the other systems on the car to make sure they're absolutely safe, and that information is coming back to us in the pits. But we don't want the marshals on track to have to be experts in the hybrid system. Instead, we want them to make sure that a common system that all teams use allows them to very quickly, visually pick up on the state of the car. So what you'll see are these LEDs around the roll hoop, as well as a mirroring series of LEDs on the front of the chassis to make sure that from any angle these are visible. Green is indicating that all is well, the car is perfectly safe and can be touched. Orange, which you'll see on track, or purple in the pit lane, indicating that the car is active and there's hybrid energy being used. Again, perfectly safe. If we do see a flashing red light, the marshals know that the car isn't completely safe, or at least we're not certain about the safety state. At that point, we want to err on the side of caution. We'd ask marshals to be wearing gloves as they approach the car, and our crew would be doing the same thing.
Thank you so much, Evan. It's fascinating to learn some of the ways that the marshalling system helps make the sport safer for everyone involved. Thank you.